Hello and welcome to this week's video. Every 4 weeks I do a Procreate video where I use my fine art painting skills to create a digital painting. Today I'm going to show you how I painted this ragdoll cat from this reference photo. This is a good one to show how to paint a loose expressive background and create that beautiful backlit glow. Let's jump straight in. Before I show you the video, let's have a look at the brushes that I used. These are the wet acrylic, turpentine, sandpaper, carbon stick and HB pencil. Notice not all of these brushes paint true. The wet brushes like the turpentine always paint lighter. That's very important when selecting colour and I'll speak about that later. I've painted the majority of this cat on one layer with the finer details over another 3 layers. Drawing. To make sure I get my drawing correct, I put my reference photo on a new layer and start a new layer above and draw around it. You can use something like a technical pen. You can then toggle this on and off during the painting process to check you are correct. This will allow you to be really expressive with your strokes without worrying about your drawing. If you want to practice your drawing, then just do it freehand. Colour. I can place my reference photo on my artboard in the following way: Settings, Canvas, Reference, Import. This will then allow you to select any colours in the reference photo by holding your finger on the photo. However, a word of caution. Remember that not all your paintbrushes paint true. The oil brushes paint lighter, so you may need to adjust the colours you select by going darker, more saturated or perhaps more muted. Let's now have a look at the time-lapse video and I'll talk you through the important points of how to do this painting. Background. Select any wet oil painting brush and make some large expressive strokes. Select an average green colour from your reference photo and just cover your whole canvas. The aim is to create the impression of the grassy area. You do not want to paint all that detail as you see it in the reference photo. Switching between the sandpaper and the turpentine brush creates smaller strokes, picking out the different colours you can see in the grasses. The sandpaper gives quite a grainy effect, so effortlessly gives us what we are seeing in our photo. You can experiment with as many different brushes as you like. The aim is to create texture with different marks. I am being very rigorous with my hand action to give that really scribbled effect. Keep selecting different colours from your photo and working them into the artwork. Blocking. I then start to block in my cat with the wet acrylic. Because I want that backlit glow, it's best to start with your oranges first and build up to your yellows. Then block in the rest of the cat, selecting average values and colours. For the face, I've laid a warm dark red first before laying the brown over the top to give the darks a warmer glow. At this point, I adjust the background around the cat again as I want my halo to pop, and it will do this easier against a dark value than a lighter one. I'm still using the wet acrylic. I add some grassy strokes to the bottom area down here using my turpentine brush. It's very easy to overdo this, so it takes a few attempts to get it right. I'm trying to continue my warm glow into the grass area around where my cat is stood. Detail. I then start a new layer as I begin to add more detail into the cat. I use a combination of the carbon stick to give me softer areas and the sandpaper to give me that furry effect on the back end of the cat. I then use the carbon stick around my background edge, just picking out some of the saturated colours I see in my reference photo. The detail of the face is done with a carbon stick, so there are no hard edges. Try and keep your edges softer. You can pull them into the background with the turpentine like I have here, or you can use the wet acrylic and press really hard on your pencil to drop maximum paint, and that gives you these very obvious light areas you see around the halo. Remember, your carbon stick and turpentine will generally give you a soft edge. The wet acrylic can be both a soft and hard edge depending upon the size and opacity used. For my whiskers, I just want to suggest these, so I use my wet acrylic and the HP pencil for a few more defined strokes up here. For the eye, I use the wet acrylic. Lastly, I add a few cooler greys through my grassy area, just to break up that temperature block using the carbon stick. And there we have it. You can see, if we compare my painting to my original reference photo, that I have exaggerated my warm areas. I have also been more angular with my lines to help create a sense of movement throughout the painting. If there is a particular aspect to the photo that you like, try leaning into this and push it further in your artwork, like I have done here. This artwork was actually a very quick, simple one to do, so have a go yourself at creating that warm glow in your Procreate art. If you would like to come and paint with me in oils, join my workshop on the 3rd of July. You'll find the link in the description below. There are also more details of lesson opportunities on my website, sarahhallidayart.com. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss future painting tips. Thank you for watching and see you next week.